We got some massive news for Tesla stock investors. Of course, it's been more political news lately for Tesla as Elon Musk has become involved in the nation's politics. In this news, Tesla could get excluded from EV rebates in a key state of California where Tesla generates significant amounts of sales. So I'll elaborate on what these events could be and what it would mean for Tesla stock investors. Let's take a look at the details. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So Governor Gavin Newsom proposed new rebates for electric vehicles if President-elect Donald Trump will remove those other nationwide electric vehicle tax credits. So there's a lot of details to consider. Let's take it one at a time. So Tesla's EVs would be excluded from these consumer rebates proposed by the California governor. A decision the governor says is aimed at creating more competition. Now, I'm not in favor of these types of moves where the government is trying to decide which market participants will get certain credits and which ones don't. I don't like government getting involved in business, trying to decide which business should be given priority treatment and which business should not be given priority treatment. I'm in favor of a business thriving or falling based on its own prospects, based on how the business serves customers. Let customers vote on how a business does based on their dollars, right? Customers vote using their dollars. If they like a business's products, they will vote by purchasing that business's products more than another business's products, right? You don't want the government to come in and say, no, we don't want you buying this product. We want you buying this other product instead. That's where it gets really murky. And that's where I think it doesn't lead to a benefit for customers or businesses. So the California governor, Gavin Newsom, on Monday unveiled plans to offer state incentives to EV buyers if U.S. President-elect Donald Trump repeals a federal subsidy after he takes office next year. Newsom says in a statement that a program California phased out in 2023 could be rebooted to provide car buyers relief in lieu of the $7,500 tax credit targeted by Donald Trump. So what Trump is proposing or could do is remove that $7,500 tax credit, which is a big deal for many car buyers for electric vehicles, right? Electric vehicle sales in the United States have not done very well, even though there's been significant incentives trying to boost EV sales. And now, if Donald Trump removes those incentives, imagine what it will do to EV sales in the US that have already been struggling. So, the California governor is aiming to reboot some incentives if those other federal incentives are removed. But the governor will exclude, or is saying will exclude, Tesla from those EV credits. So the governor's office told Bloomberg that the current proposal includes market share limitations, right? That would exclude Tesla's popular EV models, but also saying that these details are under negotiation with the state legislature and could change. As if that's any news, right? Whenever a politician says a certain thing is under negotiation, I feel like for politicians, everything is under negotiation and there's never anything that's certain. That's why I've always cautioned my viewers that relying on something the government says they will do is a very risky thing to do with your hard-earned dollars because the government changes their mind all the time. And so you can't depend on the government saying that, for instance, we're going to make all vehicle sales have to be electric vehicle sales by a certain date, right? I wouldn't count on that because, like they're mentioning here, everything's under negotiation. They might say 2030 and then delay that to 2035 and then 2040 and then remove it altogether. You can't count on that, especially because Democrats have certain policies that are not favored by Republicans. And so with changing administrations, you have changing market conditions. and it gets really murky. That's why I tend to focus on the underlying fundamentals of a business to determine whether or not I like a business for investment purposes. The core fundamentals of a business, the competitive advantages, and how they will do if you remove all of these government interventions. So Tesla stock price is down roughly 1.75% on this news, but Tesla's stock price has been performing excellently in recent weeks. Tesla's stock price is up to $346 per share. If you zoom out in the last month or so since the election results, since the presidential and Senate and Congress results, Tesla stock price has soared because of Tesla's CEO Elon Musk and his relationship with Donald Trump, supporting Donald Trump, and the theory or the expectation that Tesla will get benefits as a result of the incoming administration and the benefits they will get from the federal government, although I don't know exactly how they are going to benefit as a result of the election. Now, Tesla still accounts for more than half of all new EVs sold in California. It's a very important market for Tesla, even though its market share has been falling in the region. Tesla's sales in California fell 12.6% during the first 3 quarters of the year, compared to overall EV sales in the state rising 1%. And this is what I mean when I talk about EV sales in the US not being that strong. In the first 3 quarters of the year, EV sales in California are only up 1% compared to the same time last year. And that's despite all of these incentives going into the market. And that's despite all of this new supply coming into the market, right? How many new EV models were launched this year compared to last year, right? Several. And despite all of those new models and incentives, all of that, it still only increased by 1% year over year. Not very good compared to all of the investment that's gone into the industry. That's what I mean when I say EV sales are not catching on as quickly as any participant would have hoped. So Tesla made 54.5% of all EVs registered in the state during the first 3 quarters. That's a big drop from 63% in the same time last year. So that's to be expected, right? All these new models are coming in, and consumers looking around and seeing all of these new models to choose from are choosing Tesla less often. And that's not to say that Tesla isn't the best EV in the market. I still think Tesla's the best EV in the market for consumers based on the price and the performance. But people, when they go to buy cars, are not only looking at performance, right? They're looking at design, they're looking at newness, and Tesla's models are getting long in the tooth now, everything except for the Cybertruck is, really old now, save for a few updates. And you have newer models with newer designs that when people go to look to buy, they might like the way a certain car is designed versus a Tesla. So it is losing market share. I suspect that market share losses will continue for Tesla because newer models keep coming in and Tesla's not really creating any newer models. And the Cybertruck only accounts for a small fraction of Tesla's overall sales. So Tesla stock price is reacting, slightly, maybe not even at all to this news. Tesla stock investors do not seem to be alarmed by these developments, and I don't blame them. I don't think you should react to this news. I don't think uh, any of these political developments in these last few weeks, even the presidential elections, warrant an adjustment to the share price because it's all speculation. We don't know precisely what's the new policy, how it's going to impact Tesla specifically or the EV industry overall. I think it's too soon for any reaction positively or negatively. In terms of valuation, Tesla's stock price is already very expensive. It's trading at a forward price to earnings of 106, trading at nearly the most expensive it's been going back a couple of years. It's only briefly been more expensive than it is right now. So these developments, again, something to follow, but not something to react to. This doesn't warrant any decision one way or another. It's just another thing to consider with all of the politics going on right now between the presidential branch, the state branch here, and then geopolitically, the tariffs, all of that going on. It's a lot to digest. It's just something to keep an eye out for now. No actionable news on this development here.
Hey everyone, if you like watching my videos, then I've added a great complimentary product just for you. I've created a book, I've written a book that's available for sale now that highlights my 6-step investing framework. Even if you don't follow that investing framework, just reading it and knowing how I evaluate stocks will make it a lot more interesting and informative to watch my videos. I've added the link in the description below.